a key factor in how they were gaining their early game advantages, so they need to find their identity again.
Well, we'll see what they stop Team Solomid from bringing to the table and what they want to start to kind of shape that identity with here on this Champion Select as we start off our third day here in the first week of the NALCS. Start the end of the week here with this game in the Battle Theater.
NA picks and bans are actually quite interesting right now compared to the rest of the world. Zyra is highly prioritized right now with an incredibly high presence in North America in both pick and ban in terms of how many games we've actually seen her in the Champion Select versus every other region. Karma's up there as well. Some regions are actually picking Karma. Korea is also on top of that, but not to the same level that we are here in NA. And Azir, it's funny because Azir's actually been picked 3 times, banned away a lot, but hasn't won a game in NA yet.
Kindred kind of feeling the same way in that
sense. Yeah, Kindred's 0% win rate on 2 picks.
Yep. Looking at it as well, Mark was kind of talking about the mini metas that are showing up in each game or how it's kind of flexing between the teams. And when TSM took on CLG, Azir actually wasn't even anything.
Yeah.
They played in that. Now comes back with these teams.
So we're seeing actually a decent amount of things open here. Ekko, Swain, Maokai, Vladimir. We're seeing a lot of powerful champions rise on top of that as well. A lot of things here. A lot of power picks. I'd be very surprised if this wasn't one of those power picks, first pick. Even Lucian.
Biofrost got a lot of love in this ban phase.
Yeah, that's true. They threw a lot at Biofrost. 2 supports. We saw him on Karma. What else does he got?
Yeah.
Does he have other aggressive champions? Because they banned out the 2 champions we saw him play.
There might be a Thresh.
True. But they banned out the 2 champions we saw him playing, so he's going to have to go to something else.
That Ryze is going to go over to TSM to start off as well. We can see the team of Liquid chatting it up, making sure they know what their picks are. It's the Maokai, it's the Lucian. Why not? You have a great start to a team there, and you can really put anything around it. You have a bit of initiation. You also have a way to peel for your AD carry already. What is going to come out on the side of Team Solomid? Been playing pretty methodical. Still a team where we see a slower early game, and then Bjergsen showing up in the late game fights, or Hauntzer kind of carrying from those late game fights.
Yeah.
Styles TSM still rolls with.
So right now, I assume you'll pick up a jungler, maybe pick up a priority support, possibly the Trundle, which is next in terms of popularity after these 2 in NA. Like you said, possibly a Thresh. The thing with the Trundle is it doesn't give you that type of lane presence that Biofrost has had alongside DoubleLift to win the lane.
Bard is still there.
That's true. Bard is actually...
You could actually pull out the Bard for this.
Bard is actually rather low priority in NA compared to other regions, so it's actually quite interesting.
Junglers as well kind of pushed to the side here. Rek'Sai is going to get picked up, but there were, like you said, there were a lot of other picks left up. And we've seen them roll around as Ekko, Ryze, Maokai, and Lucian before the jungler does get grabbed. So that doesn't really mean too much for TL.
Yeah,
show the jungler here.
These are flex picks as well. Ryze and Ekko, you can put one in the top, one in the mid. Both of them are reversible there. But this is big because TSM ended up getting 3 what are S tier now, S tier champions after what was banned. Rek'Sai is pretty much next in the tier list after Kindred and Italy in the jungle. Ryze, top tier top laner, as well as Ekko. So TSM right now basically have everything you want. And TL, a little bit different here.
Well, they have the wave clear now, that's for sure. They're able to keep themselves safe if they do get sieged on by this team. Just completely dove over and over again, depending on how good the positioning becomes and warding from TSM. I actually have the work cut out for him.
I actually think Anivia is incredibly powerful, especially on this patch, 610. Anivia got a lot of quality of life changes that ended up buffing her and making her feel really good and not so clunky, but it ended up giving her a lot of power, low mana costs that haven't been nerfed, which they are in 611. But Anivia against Ryze, you have the wall to keep him out. You have slows, you have a stun. He usually stands pretty close to his initial point while he's slinging spells because they do have a cast time.
You only need a moment to break that.
And I expect him to go Strength of Ages, because when you're Anivia and you get Strength of Ages, the health is actually multiplied by 2 because you have your egg. And Ryze typically early on does not have enough mana to kill 2 HP bars.
FeniX can try to go hard in that lane, keep it pushed up, keep Bjergsen in the mid lane. Kind of what he did with Zillion as he was playing against Huhi. Just kept him in the mid lane with pushing waves. Bard could go over to Matt's side, one of his strongest, kind of a spot that a lot of people would maybe look towards now that TL, falters in the beginning. He was somebody who started to really bring TL back when they were faltering in the spring split. He's going to go with Soraka, though, with that Bard being up. They feel like it's a bit more advantageous here throughout this composition.
Yeah, and it was always a package deal as well. You talk about Matt getting them back in. Him and Dardoch were the shot callers of TLA that came over to the TL squad, and they controlled the early game and objective, both together. And now Matt is doing a lot of that on his own, and he's getting some assistance from Matt and Lourlo, but it's still not that same commanding jungle presence that we had seen from Dardoch. And I want to talk about TSM's last two picks here, the Sivir and the Nami, because you would actually think that they would pick Caitlyn here against the Lucian, just have that long range, and Caitlyn Nami is an incredible bully lane. But when they saw the Anivia come out, they immediately said, we need some movement speed for Ryze and also Ekko to get on this Anivia and stick on this Anivia. So it was a pick, not just for the lane, but for the team.
Nami as well, always a great pickup for the in or the out. The oops actually lets you use Tidal Wave to back up here.
A lot of engage and disengage here.
Speed on speed. You put your team in that Tidal Wave and they're going to zip as well. So can TSM roll on with another win, or will Liquid stop them cold? Tell us on Twitter. Use the hashtag TSM win or the hashtag TL win, and we'll tally those up as we get into game. We're going to have to see if TL can grab the early lead. It's really going to be helpful for them since TSM has seemed to get their warding out early, control these objectives with the Dragons being a new thing. TSM kind of goes back to a team that understands the worth of those and has really been locking them down. We are just about to get on to the Rift, our final day here of week 1, and we're going to start off in the Battle Arena, the intimate Battle Arena. Thank you all for joining us here in this nice close setting. We're going to be on the Rift. It's TSM versus Team Liquid. We'll see who takes this game 1 of a best-of-3 series.
And looking at how the compositions will want to actually execute in the mid-late game, TSM, movement speed, engage, a little bit of disengage as well, but this is a team that wants to run you down, strike swiftly, run past the Maokai, get to these carries, and kill them as fast as possible. The Anivia, FeniX, he'll have a little bit of a wrench in that with his egg, but then you go over to TL side, and everybody's running TP. Double TP for both sides, so split pushing 1-3-1 is a possibility, but this is a team fighting comp. They want a 5v5. They want a 5v5 and have that structure of Maokai in front, have the Anivia long range, and then have the Lucian mid-range with the heals from Matt coming out. So both teams kind of want to fight here, but Hauntzer does have a split push advantage for TSM. They
want a 5v5, but do they want a 2v2? It looks like Piglet is still walking down on the bottom lane, so we are going to get it.
Yeah, TSM's team is actually very interesting because they can run straight at your front, but they can also flank. All these champions are actually quite suited to that, so there's a lot of global presence here as I continue to look at that. One more thing on top of all this, though, is I want to see how the double TP works out for TL, because Lourlo recently, and even near the end of the split, his TPs were not really on point, and Lourlo usually has somebody communicating with him where the TP is going to be coming down. Matt is usually the guy to do that, but I want to see what happens because Moon typically doesn't respond too well to jungle pressure, and as we have seen Svenskeren kind of grow in the playoffs and grow during the start of the season, he is always in the enemy jungle. He pushes up, Bjergsen pushes up, they invade. I want to see how Moon responds if that ends up being the strategy here for TSM.
So we'll keep an eye on that, and as well in this bot lane here for our featured matchup, DoubleLift versus Piglet. And the harass is going to come out very strong in the beginning. Little ebb and flow back and forth as Biofrost gets his attacks in. DoubleLift kind of threading in some autos of his own, and they're going for a pretty hard push on this one to get their 2 and make sure they have dominance in the lane.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of attention on Biofrost from a community standpoint as well, because every time TSM brings on a new member or DoubleLift gets a new support, everybody is basically putting him under the microscope. Like, how good is this guy? Biofrost was not that spectacular in Challenger on the Dream Team, but he ended up kind of coming into his own, and he's really actually quite good at the bully style, so he fits the style of the team and what they're going for. It kind of reminds me of Adrian. Adrian was named 10Q back in Challenger, and he was not that great of a player, actually. He was missing a lot of Morgana bindings, etc. And now when he's on Immortals, and all he has to do is really play a certain style around Wild Turtle, he doesn't have to go for the Leona plays that he did on TIP and be aggressive.
That's very true. Kind of wonder where those went, but yeah, the style has completely changed for him. So Biofrost seems to have that confidence of the team behind him, so he can almost go with the style he came in with. untempered. The team will follow. If you make a mistake, we'll be right there behind you.
Exactly.
And that's kind of what TSM has spoken about.
If you do this and your lane is not on the same page, your support ends up dying because your AD carry is trying to CS and standing back.
A little love there onto Lourlo. He got a good twisted advance, but Hauntzer was able to get to 3 proc down and show him just how much it actually hurts to go at the early Ekko. No real lead in either lane, no crazy jungle pressure going off with the 2v2s here. We may see some action soon. Ping's going up. It looks like Svenskeren is just going to try to get some scuttled. 25-19. The early level 2 is paid off here a little bit for TSM. Doesn't look like they're able to use it as it just gets pushed under and Matt keeps sustaining up.
Well, they saw that.
He's like, maybe I didn't want to walk on it.
Yeah, you don't. A lot of the times you don't because it gives away your position.
Right.
But Rek'Sai now going across the jungle systems there and counter jungling, and he's also behind Lourlo right now.
It's actually quite a bit of knowledge for
Hauntzer
Svenskeren.
gets to land a W. It could stun Lourlo, and it could be a pickup here as Svenskeren comes in for this first gank.
This is all a series of events that Lourlo should have known. The twisted of events that Svenskeren was definitely the right choice in the flash. He gets out safely, but when your jungler shows bottom and you know you have no vision, pushing up kind of towards the river, very, very risky. They'll have the teleport to get back to lane as bot lane once again duking it out. Piglet and DoubleLift going toe-to-toe, come out of that with the same amount of HP, and it's Piglet going hard, forces the heal out of DoubleLift once he gets Relentless Pursuit up, and at that low HP, Lucian can afford to do that.
Exactly, that was a very back-and-forth fight, but the fact that Biofrost missed his bubble was crucial, because if it had landed, it could have possibly blown a flash if it was on point, or if it had landed, it was just going to be an incredible amount of damage, and TL would have had to back off because they weren't able to return theirs.
Piglet, knowing his boundaries, knowing he would have gotten the auto attacks off first to DoubleLift's low health. And now coming up on 6 minutes. I think we're getting the match we wanted out of this bottom lane.
Yeah, usually but here comes Moon from behind.
Very, very safe.
It's going to be a gank in this bot lane.
The bubble is low. He's going to either choose to heal or bubble on this. Biofrost is low. The kill from Piglet goes over to DoubleLift for first blood. And Biofrost flashes in this instant, thinking he could save himself, but unfortunately goes down in the same instance. 2-0 now for TL. All right. Lourlo gets ignited down, a little bit of minion damage. The tree gets cut up.
Oh, so the TP comes through. Lourlo picks up Biofrost, and Biofrost actually flashes back under the turret, and it ends up being quite good for him.
Oh, his ignite was already used.
Yeah.
He just got cannoned away.
We'll
see it again right here.
Walks through, immediately silence, blows up DoubleLift so he can't even flash. And then the ignite on Piglet to make him back up. And then he's hoping that he would end up dying. Piglet gets out of range.
Sniper
and then
turret.
He turns around because he wants to get his sap magic off. He's so close to getting his sap magic off.
It was like half arcade.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was going to be Arcane Smash into an auto attack that would have given him the heal. That thing's strong, man.
Winions, Biofrost picking up a kill.
Yeah, no assist over to DoubleLift though. So that's 2 kills to Piglet with nothing for DoubleLift except for that death.
That, couldn't go anywhere else if you were the AD carry on that end. You'd feel pretty bad trying to come back with the same amount of items, but now Piglet is going to try and stay in his face and continue to do that damage. Biofrost is going to have his work cut out for him as well to keep that sustained up. So Moon making some entrances, was seen bottom, but actually made the repeat. They know they need to actually shut down that bot lane as well.
Yep. They see Svenskeren on the side, and that's actually prompting Lourlo to come through here and FeniX to be aggressive.
Wall out. Not too much damage to Bjergsen just yet as things aren't leveled. Doesn't blow a flash, doesn't blow too much, and he's able to walk out. But Team Liquid's very active in this early game.
Yeah, very active, but still ending up behind in gold just slightly because of those kills. And also the jungle pressure. You can see Svenskeren right now wasting no time, goes, checks out the entire jungle of Moon on the right side. And I've actually noticed this when I watch the replays. TSM make a lot of use of these jungle timers, but hold on. They're going to make a lot of use of this mid lane.
Oh, looks like they're going to scramble FeniX on this one. Do they have enough time? It's going to be Moon from the side. He uses everything he has to try and deter that, but FeniX goes down, teleports down.
Wait, Moon's walking up.
Why would Moon walk up?
He doesn't think Bjergsen has the damage at that point or the cooldown to root him. And they immediately turn on him, and they go straight through those minions. They don't give a damn about them. That's the second time the TSM has done something like that mid lane. This is a very practiced strategy. You can tell the way that they're flanking and the timing that they have on it. Very aggressive style here from TSM. Last split, it was all about sitting back and kind of letting the game happen and then reacting. TSM are being aggressive. You're seeing that their boot camp actually meant something for this squad.
And they're promoting this very quickly. The vision's not necessarily there, but they're still going in as fast as they can.
Yeah, multiple flashes. That is no hesitation there. They know Moon's doing the red buff. They know he's on the left side of the map. Avoid it, go in, guaranteed. Guaranteed that it is a 3-on-1 for that moment, and Moon walks up, and you think the minions are going to body block some of that for you, but it's not.
But everything they have in timing works out for him too. If it went bad, Hauntzer had Chrono Break. He was the first one to take aggro. Very well planned in the whole situation. Team Liquid are now thinking, why weren't our ganks becoming that successful? Why could not? Or why couldn't have gone that well for us? And it makes it more difficult now, because once you try things and continue to fall behind, where do you find the window to get the advantage?
Exactly, and that wasn't even a TP from Hauntzer, right? He walked down from top lane. Lourlo used his TP to get to the bottom lane. So the TPs were completely up for TSM, and they can always make a play onto the TL bot lane because they keep shoving up now, and it's just back and forth pressure.
We say what can they do now, but they actually have a team that can do quite a bit later as well for Team Liquid side. They have that time to wait for. Build up FeniX, try and get him stronger. Lourlo into that tank status so they can deal damage with Moon. They can deal damage with Piglet. He's actually doing quite well in that bot lane at 2-0. The CS has been evened up. Top laners 81 to 60 as Hauntzer, the time he's been able to pretty much leave that lane is the time he spent in mid lane there. He's been getting the CS lead and able to roam. It's been making an impact.
Oh, look at this. Moon, bottom side of the map, because he sees the jungle timer on the blue is currently yellow. So he knows that Svenskeren is going to be top side of the map right now. It possibly makes a play. Everybody's making use of these timers that show on the mini-map.
That he didn't step on. Could be the Void Rush he wishes he stepped on. We'll have to see here.
There it is.
Goes down. There's the Void Rush right over to the Krug pit. And that's going to deter them from the fight. So one or the other. He steps on it. He comes over. They go for the gank. He comes over.
Didn't get to hand off the blue, though. So no blue over.
That's true. That's true.
Bjergsen just yet.
Bjergsen will go back. He'll be like, I'll just come out and get it myself.
Yeah.
He's getting pretty big himself here.
And actually looking at the mid lane, FeniX took Thunderlords. He didn't take Strength of Ages. We've seen both for Anivia. The Thunderlords is just that huge amount of damage where you have extra flat penetration from the Precision Mastery. And the Strength of Ages is just survivability because you rely on Anivia's already high damage, but it's a stylistic thing.
Yep. We know FeniX. He likes to do damage.
Yeah.
He's the one making plays a lot of the time. Him and Piglet. Matt as well when he's on a Bard on that Janna. This time it's going to be the Soraka for that bot lane, who so far have gotten the featured matchup, I'd say, in their favor for the most part. The rest of the map not going in favor of Team Liquid, however. Strong solo lanes from Bjergsen and Hauntzer. Svenskeren as well getting in on some mid lane ganks here. So TSM is saying, all right, the bot lane's kind of going to be like that. They're going to be aggressive. Moon will keep being there. We're going to work the other side of it.
I was just looking at how aggressive TSM is being as well. Even just looking at Biofrost's Spell Thief's Edge, he actually has generated 100 more gold from the auto-attacking than Matt. But look at this, up top, more! Here comes TSM being aggressive again.
Lourlo, twisted advance, Vengeful Maelstrom is on. Goes down eventually. 3 is a crowd, and it's too much for Lourlo to take on. They're going to have this turret as well. Maybe a Dragon Answer on the other side, but it looks like they're actually going to be going for the turret as well, yeah. They're actually going to want the kills and the turret.
He walked over it. Did they spot it? They pinged it out.
Calling, somewhat connecting.
He's got to kill him.
And out. That TP as well is going to be from Bjergsen. He's just around Tri-Pit. If he can throw the ultimate, they can get some good AoE damage on this. A tidal wave keeps them in position. TSM still going in on Liquid here. He flashes forward. The Rune Prison doesn't hit right away. And now they're on to FeniX. It does not look like he'll be able to stop himself. He just gets his egg back, and they can't even use it in a fight where the team can recuperate and help him to go down for Liquid.
And this is maximization of your time because he's already doing red. Svenskeren's already doing red. Moon is going to walk up.
Unfortunate. There's not much more you can say about that. going up, thinking the fight was bot lane, and then my jungle's clear, I'll be all right to do this, smite the health back. And you were so wrong.
Yeah, it's a 4-on-4 for the longest time in the bot lane. Lourlo continues to channel his TP, doesn't cancel it, shows up, so he isn't on that top side, and Svenskeren the entire time is just walking into the red. And Bjergsen,
if Hauntzer had mana, they probably would have gone past that turret, got him, and then
pretty much 100%. You can see how aggressive he's been with his Dark Seal.
Yeah.
5 stacks on it for Hauntzer at the moment.
Definitely a game to keep an eye on for continuously locking down advantages. We'll see how this bottom play happens once more.
TPs. Svenskeren stays top to finish off the turret, I believe. Almost gets the stun and gets the flash, but that tidal wave from Biofrost was so good. That's how they ended up continuing the fight. That's how they got the jump on the bush, or else it would have been a counter there, and it would have been able to give TL the jump.
Before this ends, look at all the wards as well, up the path that Moon is going to take to red. So Svenskeren knew the whole time. He's like, oh, I'll take your red, and you'll be here in 15 seconds. I'll take that kill.
He took the
so many wards.
He stayed there. He had his Void Rush up, and instead of going down and using Rek'Sai's abilities, decides, you know, rest of you guys got this. I'm going to maximize my time, get the red, be a huge bully. And I feel like the change where you can see in Fog of War when the buff is going to spawn has been big for TSM, and they've actually been exploiting that so much.
Also, seeing the level advantages here, level 11 to 9 on Lourlo. That's actually huge for second ult. 11 for Bjergsen to 10 of FeniX as well for that second ult power. So really have a lot to work with on the side of Team Solomid, and they're finding ways to pressure that over and over again. Here again, Svenskeren in the face of Moon, and it's even drawing Piglet out. He maybe not get the kill here, but you're being a nuisance, and you're keeping TL away from the experience, away from pushing the lanes.
TSM have shown a mastery. I know it's only 3 games, but they've shown a mastery of how to do split pressure. I think the only time I can really knock him for it is game 2 against CLG, where Svenskeren checked the red buff when Bjergsen was doing his own Raptors, right? Where he got caught out and blown up. But they're showing that they've practiced this a lot, that their communication is much better than it was last split. And TSM, they're making statements pretty much every game that these are going to be as fast as they can possibly make, and they're going to try to close these games out quickly.
I mean, TL came in with an idea, hoping that 2 of Biofrost would throw him off. He wouldn't be able to kind of be a link they need in the bot lane, and TSM could crumble there. Still able to come out with the Nami, and still, while they got beat in the bot lane, focus the other side of the map.
Well, they're getting Biofrost to show more, which is good, but at the same time, he seems like a well-rounded player.
Yeah.
When I've heard DoubleLift talk about Biofrost, he has nothing but praise for this guy, and they play basically on the same wavelength. They both have the same mentality about how they want to play bottom lane, which is something that DoubleLift didn't have with Yellow Stark, because it was all about the roaming with him. It was about winning the map instead of the lane. And DoubleLift is like, hey, you pick Nami, you go pick Karma, pick these champions that are going to win the game for us through the lane. And that's what he's all about, is just that pressure. And with the range support meta coming up, Biofrost seems well suited to that, as TSM give Hauntzer another advantage in the top lane.
Yeah, that's a 20-minute Herald, so he will be very happy with that. And it's going to be even harder for Lourlo to step up to him as well when that lane gets pushed up. The warding is still there. Sightstone on Svenskeren. I've been meaning to look at this. Moon has been not able to grab one, so only the Sightstone on Matt, and the wards that TSM has been able to put out kind of make them almost look like even more all-stars, right? The plays seem seamless. Everything just continues to happen. They're kind of putting it in on the plate for themselves here. Bjergsen roaming around, and they're almost doing this freely. One person in the jungle here, one person in the jungle there. They have complete control over the jungle right now.
And it's all by pressure. They understand how to advance ward lines. They understand that getting control of the jungle is crucial.
I feel quite scared for this bot lane. I feel like it's going to get dove very, very soon.
That's what they're saying, because they heard Rek'Sai tunnel. They didn't see him anywhere on the top side of the map for a few seconds. And they're calling Moon down right now. They're saying, you know what, something's probably going to happen here, because they're playing a little unusual.
Right.
Their demeanor changed for a second.
If it wasn't going to happen on the siege wave, they probably know they have some room to breathe now. So hold off. Biofrost actually is going to set up a little bit here to see if they can bait somebody out. DoubleLift's going to stand off by himself. It's actually a good bait, because we all know DoubleLift is sometimes by himself.
Yeah, picking up the farm. Svenskeren, though. Oh, Ward went over. Didn't see him, though. And there goes the tunnel, and here comes the TP and the wave!
Oh, two flashes. Relentless Pursuit already used. The bubble going past. It doesn't actually miss, but it does hit Svenskeren. A bit of speed there. Is it enough for the tunnel to come back up? Oh, he's just roaming around. He's saying, you want it? I actually grabbed it. My bad. And they head out on that one. Even though it didn't look like the opportune time, they were still able to execute.
Full commitment here. TSM, last split, we were criticizing them over and over again. When they group up as 5, they don't look that great because nobody is supporting each other and they're all doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Even there, DoubleLift is healing Svenskeren to get him closer to continue to deal damage to Piglet and continue to tank the turret for him. So everybody is helping each other out here. You're seeing comes through, uses the tidal wave against the wall, and Piglet actually dashed at the same time, got both flashes, so the follow-up flash and the Sivir speed. Ignite goes down, and then the heal to get Svenskeren closer to continue tanking the turret. Oh man, comes up, takes the kill though.
Oh, another fight mid lane. Here's Bjergsen actually teleporting onto a minion in that last replay to kind of help get the team past the turret. He was left out to dry in the party though, as he saw both Team Liquid members flash away. That doesn't stop them from staying in Team Liquid's jungle right now, trying to give them a whole hell of a lot of trouble. Gonna steal away blue. That is actually going to be quite hard for FeniX as well once this late game comes up and he needs to clear all those waves.
Yep, doesn't have the same type of mana regen that you did before because you don't go things like Themes. You end up having to take some damage to get mana back, and then the tier actually just reduces the costs instead of giving you a flat regen. But also, on the top side of the map, while everything was going down mid and on the right side, Lourlo was forced to blow Flash at the Baron pit because Biofrost walked up with his Eon and just kept slowing him as DoubleLift and Bjergsen were closing in. So no Flash for the Maokai right now, no Twisted Advance combo, and already 8,000 gold up for TSM.
And they're only getting things that help them dominate. A Mountain Drake to come out, which means once they approach these turrets, take that little bit of extra damage.
It'll be their second one too.
With 1 minute coming up. The next dragon out. Baron is on the board, 20 minutes in.
And this is one of those games that you look at the composition and you would love to just say, yeah, TL, they can stall, they scale because they have Anivia. It's not necessarily true here. Eventually, DoubleLift might invest into an Executioner's Calling and shut down Matt even more.
Yeah.
And FeniX, well, there's a lot of answers to him. Bjergsen, Hauntzer, Svenskeren, and DoubleLift's ultimate on the hunt. They'd be able to actually close that distance. So it's going to take a lot because Moon is not playing a CC jungler. If you look at this squad, all the CC is FeniX with his wall and his stun. Little bit of a silence from Matt, but it's not really a hard CC
That's conditional,
positional.
yeah.
And Lourlo, just Maokai, right? You don't have a jungler that's offering CC in this. So you don't have that same type of tank wall that you normally have for an Anivia.
Yeah, the tank wall go on that is they're actually able to focus Lourlo right now. Pretty much the first one off the bat. Like you said, the second Mountain Drake here is obviously going to be in TSM's control, which gives them even more objective and turret control.
It's a Mountain Drake, and our game still says has slain the dragon. What's up with that, man?
Such a stickler.
That's true. I still say mana. So
I say mana.
I know. I got you guys on that.
It's good. It's a mana train.
So that's the only thing I've ever contributed to the casting team. Is getting people to say mana.
You said it. I'm not, I mean, I don't feel that way. 9K now. It's just increasing here as TSM continues to slowly, like, kind of bleed them out. It seems like they could take one more thing, but they want to make sure it happens 100% in their favor. They don't even want to lose a member on the side of TSM when they do something next. Hauntzer here obviously knows he can play it very safe while being aggressive in the bot lane.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody can really take him down.
He's got Rift Herald, right? He's got the Glimpse of the
Exactly.
Void. So he's able to bully out somebody who he's 2 levels up on, already has an advantage on an offensive item.
And he has it for another 14 minutes.
Exactly, and he has a better matchup too. And here comes Hauntzer straight through. Roll in, actually hit the turret with it, why not? And just continue to walk on out. Get that chip damage, do that 3-4 times, that turret's yours, and you've opened up the map more. But look at that wall, and all the CC used.
Oh, Svenskeren very low. That seemed to be the focus, and Liquid wasn't really drawing their eyes to the rest of the members coming in for TSM. The vision doesn't seem to be there to want to go on either side of the wall. Some minion waves to be prepped as well, and TSM backs off of this fight, knowing They still have the lead, and they can play it safe.
So Biofrost is actually showing really good usage of the ultimate here, the tidal wave, because a lot of people are going with the flavor of the month and being like, oh, I'm hopping on Nami because it's a good champion. You know, it's just going to be very easy to play because I just need the pressure. But he's actually using the abilities correctly. He's showing mastery of them. So he's showing that he didn't just pick it up because he wants to get on that train. It's also, this champion is actually quite good in his hands. Maybe he's played it a lot before. I would actually probably say he has, because he's actually using it on choke points, whereas your initial reaction would be, I'm going to throw it at people directly and like knock up the back line. He's like, no, I'm going to go through choke points, make sure that they actually can't use this point as an option and get it for my team. He was also using Braum ultimate the same way the other day.
Yeah, as a support main myself, I feel there's this inkling of love playmaking to Biofrost, so he focuses on those types of champions. He likes to be able to get in the front, have the team follow him for a flash bubble or something like that, and they're confident in that from what we've seen in the play.
And it's a little different too, because it's not just solely I'm gonna make plays of playing Thresh, right? I hope the guy,
it's not just I'm gonna play Janna and do something with the Monsoon and save my team.
Exactly.
I want to initiate that play.
Exactly. It's enabling his team to continue making a play.
Yeah.
Because if you tidal wave a choke point, it cuts off an option that makes the enemy team more predictable, because you're like, oh, he's gonna do this or that, and it's like, well, he can't do that anymore, so he has to do this. And then your team follows up on that. And it looks like this one guy's doing something completely brilliant. It's like, oh, he got him. It's like, well, actually, he had really no other option because it was cut off by this guy. And that's what Biofrost has been doing this game. You
make other players make the play. Like, you already know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Force them into the wall, force them into the bubble, because you know the positioning. 9-2. The knowledge of positioning, warding, and the rest have given a 9,000 gold lead. Actually, they've earned the 9,000 gold lead to TSM. 2 Mountain Drakes as well. Means bad things for the objectives and turrets on the map if they are able to approach. And this is where we figured TL will be able to somewhat hold here, right at the front of their base.
It's 1-1
get some
though.
clears down.
It's going to be a 1-3-1 here, and the top jungle is where TSM want to ward up, clear all the pink wards, clear all the vision, rotate back and forth, and get swift hits on turrets, and then retreat back to where you were and continue pushing. And sometimes group is 5 and collapse, but make sure you shove your waves out so you can come back to them right after, which is just what Bjergsen did, and Hauntzer will most likely do in a few seconds here, or he's going to rotate to mid as they 4-man top because they have the inside track here, and they're getting that damage as Svenskeren stops them from coming in.
TL consistently there second. Piglet gets caught in the front. Piglet flashes out of that with the wish. Matt keeps him alive. Hauntzer to the back line to take Piglet down immediately, even after he uses both summoners. Hauntzer is a beast in the back line right now as Lourlo tries to do the same on the reverse. Lourlo now coming back for Peel as he realizes he can't deliver the same damage, and TSM pushed through another turret. 2-1. It's not over. It's never over, it seems, in this game. Hauntzer still in. Hauntzer still alive with the shield from Parallel Convergence, and they've pushed off Liquid once again as they went in for a pretty heady initiation there, but didn't want it in the end.
Yeah, I didn't see how Biofrost ended up dying there, so I'll have to look at that again when we get the replay, but that was TSM all on the same page with the team fighting. Hauntzer with the brilliant flank. FeniX had to clear out mid lane, so he TP'd into the fight as Hauntzer was already flanking and walking up. He didn't even have to TP. He walked up to that fight and was able to get the best positioning on it that you could hope for as an Ekko.
Absolutely crushing that Baron down. We'll see this fight once again. As Piglet throws on the Yomuzen right up front.
And this Ryze is just being utilized incredibly well. Silence comes out to try and save Piglet, but Hauntzer comes in, immediately menace to the backline, goes after Matt. Biofrost, okay, Biofrost does get picked up there because of the wall and because of the damage from FeniX in the turret. Follows out, and I love this from Bjergsen because Bjergsen ends up flashing forward to avoid because it grows, right? Throws it in, flashes forward so he's no longer going to be chilled throughout the entire duration to take that damage, and they jump onto FeniX. So that flash was used by Bjergsen to reposition himself. Maybe it could have been a little more optimal, but it doesn't matter because he didn't die. Lourlo put him in Twisted Advance range, but it still doesn't matter.
I think that was his idea, right? He's like, oh, you're not getting away.
Yeah, and that's a great counterplay to Anivia because the ultimate, has that little bit of a cooldown on it when you cancel it. So he's investing a lot of mana to actually keep it out there.
Also in the growth, right? You're going to place it where he was, and it's not going to grow to his feet if he flashes at you. So he kind of dodged a lot there, as well as getting super hypey. Coming up on 30 minutes now. 54,000 to 41.2. Dragon is up.
the Cloud.
Looking at that Cloud Dragon, yes sir. The Cloud Drake is up, and they are going to get mid if they decide to go back down. They can sweep that one up for themselves.
Yep.
I want to see how the AD carry matchup is going. That was our featured. Piglet's at 259 to 272. DoubleLift starting to get quite a few assists in here, and really the utility is working more than, you know, if he had the kills. If he had the kills, he'd be doing even better, but he's still Sivir. He's still giving the team what they need to. And since Bjergsen and Hauntzer did so well early game, they're kind of just able to provide that damage in.
Yeah.
Banner of Command as well to make things even harder coming out from Biofrost.
Well, it's Banner of Command. You have Baron buff. You have 2 Earth Drakes, Mountain Drakes, Mountain Drakes.
There you go.
And so you 1-3-1. Hauntzer just got the turret top. He's on the inhibitor. You have the bottom turret taking damage, and now they rotate to mid.
Oh, onto Bjergsen! He gets walled in! Looks like they're going to be able to get themselves some nice kills here as Hauntzer picks up the top. They're still losing a little bit everywhere, but trying to claw themselves back in. And Team Liquid find a few kills, some breathing room, but for how long? TSM is going to be right back to the batting order and at the front door in just a few.
Yeah, way too far forward as Anivia approaches level 15. It's actually Crystallized max second, so he has max rank wall to wall them into the base. And a good defensive option there. And picks up 2 kills because both Biofrost and Bjergsen had to walk all the way around it. But, oh, Moon.
His jungle has not been his jungle this game. How relentless. When you think you have CC to hold him down, but it's just not enough, and then he zips away.
Hauntzer's running around. I gotta get player of the game. I gotta get player of the game.
Gotta get it again.
He already got it once.
Yep.
He's running around. He actually changed his Dark Seal into Majai's, sitting on 14 stacks. Woo. With 208 ability power as tank Ekko. And the big thing about ability power when you're able to get it, it's this gigantic luxury because Ekko is balanced around being an assassin and AP. So it actually has an incredible like 1.5 AP ratio on the shield. So his shield has gained 312 more shielding.
Who knows?
Because of 200 AP.
Maybe he's got Huni scratching his chin. He's like, tank and damage?
You can do both?
What is this?
Some people were talking about going Rod of Ages into tank or Rod of Ages Abyssal into tank. There's a lot of Ekko builds currently on 6.10. 6.11, he has been nerfed in multiple ways. So, don't completely recommend trying it out just yet.
Do not try.
I have not tried, so I cannot recommend it in confidence.
Just, it's a nice guy recommendation.
Yeah.
Save yourself.
But Hauntzer on the left side of this last inhibitor turret, and they have to defend it. Wall is going to be down now. DoubleLift has the ultimate, and this is going to be the engage coming out.
Hauntzer is just toying with the back line right now. FeniX looks like he gets taken down, scrambled up once again. Lourlo tries to stay on the front line to mitigate some of that damage with his ultimate, but it's not going to be enough. TSM are just cruising through the base, cruising through Team Liquid's members, and they're going to be looking for the Nexus turret soon. The minions are there. The damage from 2 of the Mountain Drakes, as well as the Baron. I believe the Rift Herald is even still on Hauntzer right now. He got it at 16 minutes, so he's good to go. They're going to be on the Nexus turrets. They're going to be on to the Nexus. TSM will look to take game 1 of the series over Team Liquid.
And the saying, if they take an inch, they're going to take a mile, has never meant more for TSM. This squad looks incredibly aggressive. They have pressure in every lane, and they group up and they identify where the opportunities are so quickly to the point that Hauntzer ends the game with 25 Majai stacks, maxed out. Everybody in this game you could talk about because they all stepped up and performed incredibly well. This is a scary TSM squad, and the more they play like this, the more you want to see that TSM Immortals matchup way later on.
Yeah.
Because this looks like they're in form right now. It looks like they did not take that loss at MSI lightly.
No, not at all.
Sorry, in the finals, to not make MSI lightly.
I knew what you meant. Looking at that as well, CLG, they kind of pressure Team Solomid. We have to realize, though, here, Liquid rebuilding themselves. TSM, they are confident in their play, though. As you said, they continue to go with the aggression that they know, and they didn't allow Liquid any room to get back into that game. They said, yeah, you're going to have the clear, maybe the wave clear once we push in, but we will be so many levels up before that point. They set themselves up for such a good game. It kind of helped that they got 2 Mountain Drakes along the way as well, because they were already approaching.
I mean, if they were Infernal, it would have been bad too, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that, a lot of things
in their favor.
Like, a lot of dragons, even if it was Cloud Drake at that point, they're able to just rotate faster and play the 1-3-1 a little bit better. So the Drakes mean a decent amount, especially when it's that and when it's Mountain and you're able to actually get through the Anivia and not have to waste too much time. But like, I think the position they put themselves in, they could have had any Drake at that point.
Yeah.
Right? They did a really good job.
Maybe switching up picks and bans, not so much on Biofrost, because the guy can still pull out some great plays on Nami as well. We'll see how they switch it up. That's what a series is all about, though. That's what the best of 3 is. You can switch it up, you see your opponent, and you adapt. The analysts have some comments on this game as well, so let's check.